we had to pay an extra 20,000 Chinese yuan, something like that. The dorm stayed shut down for an entire 2 to 3 more years. But because of COVID, they could not leave China. They could not, I don't know for some reason, but my knee completely twisted in, like it went tock. As I could not afford that surgery. It was, many people close to me have passed away back home. Most of problems in life really, guys, come because of lack of money. Let's just be real. And so what I've learned is that money might not buy happiness, but it solves problems. And when you don't have problems, you're kind of happy in some way. All right. And so I got many stories to just tell you how many times having enough money for a situation have gotten me out of trouble or could have gotten me out of trouble. And the first lesson literally is on the very first day I came to China. Okay. The very first day I came, it was application day. We had to go to the school, register our names, and really confirm that, hey, we are going to start this curriculum. Again, I came with my cousin. I came with a guy cousin as well as a girl cousin, and so we were just both taking care of that. And my brother have lived here for 6 years before we came. My brother took us around the campus to pretty much just help us with everything. During the application process, one of the supervisors of the international students department tell us that we pretty much kind of made a mistake when we applied for the for the position as well as for the program of the school, and that we had to pay an extra 20,000 Chinese yuan, something like that. Otherwise, we will not be enrolled. We will just have to go back home. That was crazy. So fortunately, my brother was there. So my brother was already working full time here, and so he was able to pay. If there was not that help from him, if he was not already in his independent situation to help us, then we would have not even spent 1 week in China. We would have had to leave right away because of a mistake that we made. A stupid mistake, really, but I don't want to go into the details of that. And so, money doesn't buy happiness? Cool. But it solved that problem, and I was able to stay in China, which has eventually kind of fulfilled me in some way. The second lesson is that, again, going back to my first date, the first date that I went on with that girl, like if I had a little bit of money with me, I would have not looked like a broke ass, and I would have been able to just, just kind of like either pay or split the bill or however, instead of just putting all the burden on her. The third lesson is that during COVID, and this is something quite traumatic, this was a very hard time. So we all know that COVID hit China in 2019. And again, I was still a student at the dormitory back then, but and I'm pretty sure that many students who were in China when COVID first hit would remember this. The dorms, every universities were closing up, like we're closing down their campus. Like you either had to stay inside and not go outside anymore, or you had to leave to go elsewhere and to not come back in anymore. And so we decided that it was best for us to just leave because we could not stay, caged. And I know that was the best decision that we could have taken because ever since COVID-19 started in 2019, the dorm stayed shut down for an entire 2 to 3 more years, which was crazy. Like I would have been stuck in there for 3 more years if I had not taken the decision to get out of there. And so again, it's money. It was money to go out and to find an apartment in which me and my 2 cousins will stay. And I remember now, my parents were actually here too. Like my parents were visiting for holidays, and so because of COVID, they could not leave China. They could not go back home. And so we all had to find a place where to stay together. That's additional money that fortunately, as a family, we were able to support each other for. Money solves problem, right? Still, during COVID, I dislocated my knee by playing basketball, and I just could not afford surgery. There was a lockdown during the first month, and then after the second month or third month, I think things were kind of starting to open back up, and we went to a basketball court to play. I don't know for some reason, but my knee completely twisted in, like it went tock as I was just moving back and forth. And we took it to the hospital. They said that my MCL, which is pretty much the inside part of my knee, was broken and that I had to go through surgery. I could not afford that surgery. It was The surgery basically cost me one arm and one leg, okay, which I could not afford. And so since that day, I just rested my knee and I just did my own type of rehab. And today my knee is just smashed. Like I could not go back to playing basketball anymore because of that. Fortunately, I can still do some usual and basic and general functional movements. I can still work out, go to the gym, and still kind of do pretty much many things. But basketball is out of the equation. I did not play basketball anymore since that day because I just did not have enough money to afford that surgery. Um, Over the past couple of years, many people close to me have passed away back home, which I could not go to because I just could not afford to take a plane tickets to go back to travel back and forth from China to Madagascar. It's like 14 15 hours of flight, and plane tickets are around 15,000 ish, which was something that I just could not afford at all back then. And so these are all the ways in which I really believe that money is, if you live in a society in which money is one of the main thing that gets you comfortable, then I really don't understand why people say that it does not buy happiness. Like maybe it does not buy happiness, okay, I would leave that there, but I know that having enough money can bring you some sort of comfort in life and can avoid you from having any problems, because most of problems in life really, guys, come because of lack of money. Let's just be real. And so people say that money doesn't buy happiness, and I really believe that whoever said that either is just completely broke and just could just never move forward in life, and have just accepted that, hey, let me just happy with being broke because this is gonna be my situation. Or people who say that might just have money but have made tons of money by doing shady stuff, like maybe they have doing some sort of human trafficking or whatever. When you make money on the back of something that is not really legal or clean, then obviously it's gonna make you kind of miserable. Or maybe it's the people who were once in their life super hungry for money and who went hard for it and who just reached the point where they are so rich that they don't need it anymore. I really think these are the three types of people who would say that money does not buy happiness. But for me personally, I know that having enough money, which is actually one of the reasons why I work so hard for, can really help me spoil my loved ones, can help me spoil myself as well from time to time, can allow me to afford more comfortable things, can allow me to solve some problem if I had it. And so I believe having money is good if you don't do it from a greedy perspective.